By now, you've all heard of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, the latest book published by Mama Jumbo Shrimp. It's more than just another wine book. The fully updated second edition was inspired by students of the Vinitaly International Academy and painstakingly reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. The benchmark producers feature is a particularly important aspect of this revised edition. The selection makes it easier for our readers to get their hands on a bottle of wine that truly represents a particular grape or region. To pick up a copy, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at mamajumboshrimp.com.
Welcome to today's episode, part of another new mini-series on voices about the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassadors who contributed to the new edition of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. This new Mama Jumbo Shrimp publication was released in January 2023 and it provides a foundation for the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassadors course. Listen in as Cynthia chats with the personalities who made this revised edition possible. And remember, you can also tune in each Saturday afternoon to hear narrated installments of this new book, or head to Amazon.com to pick up your copy today.
Hello, this is Cynthia Chaplin, and today I am very happy to be presenting a mini-series about the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassadors who contributed to the new edition of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. It was my huge pleasure to be one of the editors and a contributor. And this book has just been published in January of 2023, and it forms the keystone of the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassador course. So today I am really happy to welcome my good friend and fellow VIA ambassador, Ciro Pirone. Ciro is Campania DOC, and he graduated from Istituto Alberghiero di Salerno in 1994. And since then, he's been unbelievably busy traveling and working in Italy, England, the US, and he is now the director of Italian wines at Horizon Beverage Company, and he's responsible for representing the whole Italian portfolio across several market activities. So I don't know how he had time to help us out with this book, but he did. So thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia, and always happy to be here and in support of the VIA community.
Well, you've been a really long time friend of VIA and Vinitaly for many, many years, and a huge supporter of everything we do at Vinitaly International Academy. So when did you first hear about VIA, and how did you get involved originally?
I think it was probably around 2016, around then pretty much, where I think actually, interestingly enough, I was in Houston for a wine trade fair organized by the Italian Trade Commission locally. And I actually met or saw in person Stevie Kim, and we were talking about it. And obviously the first try had already happened. And then, I continued to follow her and follow, the activities that were taking place. And then 2017 was actually the first time I ever took the Vinitaly International Academy course. And then I've been part of it since, which has been a great trip.
And you've been a fantastic ambassador for us, including contributing to the new edition of the book by rewriting 5 of the grapes in the must-know grapes section of the book. So aside from the fact that I sort of bullied you into it, what motivated you to take part in the revamp of our main textbook?
I have to say, well, first of all, it was a matter of pride. And I appreciated being part of it. And it definitely didn't bully me, but I was truly excited about it because I think even from its previous version, I thought, the book, although probably improved now, obviously, with the second version, but it was a very important piece of a foundation for anybody, that wants to learn about Italian wines. Obviously, Italian wines can be daunting with the many grapes and places and the variety of things that come into play. And having such a book where you can have everything in your pocket I think it's huge. And obviously, for me personally, being so involved daily because of work, but also because of my ultimate passion for Italian wines, it was great to be part of it and actually collaborate. And very grateful for that.
Well, it was a huge help to me and definitely contributed to the success of the book, which we're really proud of. It's available on Amazon now for anybody out there who wants to take a look. But I want to sort of delve into your views about how you see your role as being a VIA Italian Wine Ambassador. Obviously, you contributed to the book. You've participated in the class. You're certified. You've got the title. We all know what your day job is at Horizon, and of course, your Italian heritage is very dear to you. But what else are you doing, sort of, as an ambassador for Italian wines now?
Well, I try, obviously, as you mentioned, other than my daily activities through work, which basically all the revolve around Italian wines. Might as well be wine dinners, events, or I do periodically seminars for the Boston Sommelier Society when they ask me locally. Private events, obviously, on Italian wines. I collaborate with the twice a year with the University of New Hampshire, also to do some classes on Italian wines for people that are part of the hospitality course there. And then also, I try to create as much as I can social media content on Italian wines because I think it's, again, it's all about spreading the gospel and keep, trying to create material that people will be interested in reading and will allow them to get more engaged with Italian wines. Might as well be probably some of the more famous wines and appellations and territories, but still is true also for the lesser known ones, which there seem to be a lot of interest. So obviously the activities in my case are about 360 degrees. I try to make sure that more and more people get excited about Italian wines, and obviously, hopefully, that helps. You know, Italy in general, but all the producers, which small or big, that are trying to sell their wines here in the United States, specifically here in the Northeast.
I think that is pretty much the definition of the perfect Italian wine ambassador outside of Italy. You're doing so much. I just wonder, kind of even delving deeper into this, what made you into such a devoted VIA supporter? What is it about Vinitaly International Academy and the VIA community that has engaged you to such an extent? We know you love Italian wine and you're devoted, but what kind of really drew you to VIA?
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local foods, and taking in the scenery. Now, back to the show.
I think, throughout my career in the wine business and obviously with wine directly, I've always looked for more ways to learn, obviously educate myself first and foremost, because as I feel that it's a continuous thing and there's never an end to it. And obviously wine was also Italian wine specifically a huge connection for me to my homeland, which I don't live there anymore, but also the fact that VIA probably was the first course to really go a lot more in depth beyond just the basics. And obviously the people behind. I've met since 2017 my first engagement until obviously today. Met a lot of great people. Some are still there, some are not. And that's really created a family connection beyond just the fact that you're seeing each other maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. And that's really created, like I said, a fantastic community, as you refer to. And I think it's important. It's important because also, like I said, education is it's continuous. The program keeps changing. There's new material. I'm always personally looking for more, and I'm hoping that through my daily activities, I'm always giving more in return to the people that I see. Might as well be a customer. Might as well be somebody just passionate about Italian wine, and I think that's how we can keep making sure that it continues to grow as a community, but also Italian wine continues to grow in the market as a representation.
Those are such good points. Out of sort of that base of people that you're dealing with on a daily basis, who do you think the best candidates are to become VIA students in the future? how would you recommend people who want to do VIA should prepare? I mean, obviously read the book, but besides that, what do you think is important, and who do you see as being future VIA students?
I think really, I think anybody that really loves Italian wines or wants to learn more about Italian wines, it's a great candidate for it. That being said, I would suggest, because of my experience taking the exam, really taking the course 3 times and doing the exam also 4 times, um, you definitely want to have a good foundation of Italian wines because it is fairly comprehensive. There is a lot of studying that needs to take place, so don't take it lightly. That being said, as long as you prepare properly, meaning yes, obviously reading, the new book for sure, but with that, you gotta complete that with a variety of other books. Just like I do, I continue to buy new books that come available. Might as well be about specific subjects more than just the varieties. I think that's critical to the success ultimately of taking the course. And but at the end of the day, the most important thing is you take the course. Maybe you don't pass the first time, don't get discouraged, but continue on studying, continue on believing in it, because it's also part of being part of a community, beyond just having the title of an ambassador, expert, and whatnot. So I think, and also the other thing that I find very critical, especially knowing what the exam and the course entails today, keep on tasting, because obviously Italian wine is a lot more than just reading about specific characteristics of a certain variety of a certain wine that come from a certain territory, but the fact that you have to taste because there's so many new producers, so many new things happening daily. So it's a very fluid thing. You can't just get stuck on the idea that certain grape or certain wine is supposed to taste a certain way.
That's so true. And in fact, this edition of the book, we added what we're calling the benchmark producer sections to the must know grapes, and we realized that we can't include every top notch producer. But what we were aiming to do was to include a list of producers who are doing really truly exemplary wines for each of these grapes that we know can be found outside of Italy. There are some wonderful producers in Italy that are just too small, aren't exporting. But we have students all around the globe now for VIA, and we wanted to give a list of benchmark producers who are pretty easily found outside of Italy so that our students could do exactly that: taste. First of all, for the love of it, as you said, for the passion, but also to really get their palate calibrated to the specific textures and acidity and different tastes that come with Italian wine. So you mentioned, you're a wine educator yourself, and you do our Via Maestro program too from time to time for people who are just taking their first steps in the world of Italian wine. So I'm an educator as well, and I just wanted to get your opinion. How do you think wine education is keeping up with the changes in the global wine sector? What would you change? How would you like to see our book change in the future, and wine education change in the future? What are you looking at as an educator instead of as a person on the business trade end of the sector?
I think obviously education is just like the world of wine is a fluid thing. It's always in motion, and it should not be something static. Just like specifically the world of Italian wines per se. I think more than change, probably I would add as far as very importantly, especially for Italian wines, the element of like storytelling, because I see and I live it daily. And I think also because a lot of people that do end up taking educational courses uh, are part of the industry one way or the other. Obviously, there's some people that might be just passionate about Italian wines, decide to take the course, but a lot of them are maybe importers, maybe distributors, maybe people that work in retail stores that sell wine, or maybe they work in restaurants. A lot of them that they want to know more. So uh, maybe also having the element of how to sell Italian wines. Maybe coming from the experience of some of the great importers or people that really have created a market for Italian wine in the United States, specifically as we're here, that can share their experience and not only become like a motivational speaker for the group, but also helping people understand how to actually sell Italian wine besides the merit of the wine that could be a great product. So I think those are my ideas. Obviously besides having current information on changing of appellations or technicalities, if you will. I think sometimes having more people sharing their stories and how they did it, I think would be greatly beneficial to many.
I think that is an incredibly outstanding point. And I think you just opened the door for me to ask you to help on the next edition, so we can include some things about how to sell Italian wine. This book talks a bit about how to speak about Italian wine, but how to sell Italian wine is definitely something we could look into, and I'm going to want your help on that. So you're never going to escape.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, if I can mention also, just like you were saying earlier, just about even how to see the VIA program grow in the future. Also there, because there's some fantastic people involved as obviously the educators that teach the course, that have a phenomenal experience and background. Sometimes also having people like winemakers, enologists, agronomists, maybe giving some lectures as part of it, because obviously it comes from a deeper experience and knowledge in the specifics of what makes wine great, and especially Italian wine. So, just adding parts to something that is already great structure and maybe just rounded it up a bit over time.
Well, I can't thank you enough for all of your insight and sharing your thoughts about this with us. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, and thank you from the whole team here in Verona for contributing to Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. And I'm very much looking forward personally to seeing you back in Verona again soon.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to be there, to see you guys all, share a glass of wine. And again, thank you for the opportunity. And ciao a tutti of the VIA family.
Ciao, Ciro. Grazie mille.
Grazie a te. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next Wednesday when I'll be chatting with another fascinating guest. Italian Wine Podcast is among the leading wine podcasts in the world, and the only one with a daily show. Tune in every day and discover all our different shows. You can find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, Himalaya, or wherever you get your pods.